Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of the Digital Marketing Therapy Podcast. My name is Sammy, and I'm your host, and today is a very special episode. I am joined by three of the most amazing ladies that I know here locally in Central Oregon, my business besties and good friends of mine. Kristy Starr, founder of Beers and Business Cards, Megan Fries, owner of Frenzy to Freedom, and Christy Lawrence, who is the founder of Time to Profit. And we have all come together over the course of the last couple of years to support each other, to be there for each other, to help each other be accountable in our businesses and grow our businesses. And when you work by yourself, as you'll hear us talk about in this episode, it can be a lonely place. And so having them support me in what I'm doing and being able to support them is super awesome. And I am very fortunate to have them in my life. And so I wanted to bring them on today to talk a little bit about collaboration and business goals and, kind of how we all work together and a fun project that we have in the works, which brings me to this episode is brought to you by the Business Accelerator. This is a 1.5-day workshop that we pulled together that helps you learn the 4 pillars to breaking through your profit plateau. And it's great because we're bringing a holistic approach to your business. We're talking about financials, we're talking about sales and messaging and becoming an authority and building a community around you and networking to help you grow and be sustainable in your business. Now, this is a live workshop that's located in Central Oregon, but it's January 10th through the 11th, and you can find information at businessacceleratorbend.com. But we're really excited about this workshop, and so I wanted to share a little bit about it, but also just how finding this network of amazing ladies has helped me just in not feeling so lonely in my business and grow, push, and accelerate me in my business as well. So I hope you enjoy. You're listening to the Digital Marketing Therapy Podcast. I'm your host, Sammy Bedell-Mulhern, and each week I bring you tips from myself and other experts, as well as hot seats with small business owners and entrepreneurs to demystify digital marketing and get you on your way to generating more leads and growing your business. I have 3 wonderful ladies joining me today on this podcast, and I'm so excited to introduce them to you. So I have Christy Lawrence, Kristy Starr, and Megan Fries joining me today. Welcome, ladies.
Hello.
Thanks. So this is going to be a little interesting because we have 2 Christys. So I'll be calling Christy Lawrence C and Kristy Starr Christy. So bear with me because we'll make it work. But I'd love for you just to take a minute and kind of introduce people to you and your business and kind of, what you do. We can start with C.
Awesome. So I have a business called Time to Profit. And what I do is I work with business owners to help them create strategies to proactively build the client base that they want in their business. And so instead of waiting for the phone to ring, I help them put together a plan to go out and find the customers they most want to work with. And I love working with small businesses because there's such a challenge in terms of demands on time and finding the priorities of what's most important that's going to have an impact on the profit is something that every small business owner I know struggles with. And so helping them really focus in on where they can generate profits and find clients is something that really makes their lives a lot easier. So I'm super excited to be here.
Awesome. What about you, Kristy?
So I'm Kristy Starr. I am kind of labeled a serial entrepreneur often, but mostly I am a giver. So I go through the week changing a lot of different things for my businesses, but mostly my favorite thing is helping others really tune in their community and tune in their outreach. So when they find that person on the internet, they're finding the person that they are looking for. And then pretty much, oh goodness, I just do so many things. How would you sum me up there, Sammy?
Oh, well, I mean, I think you're the networking queen, right? You've started Beers and Business Cards, which is a networking event in Central Oregon, which helps support all sorts of business owners. So building community, I think, is definitely how I would sum you up.
Okay. That's, I was like, wait a second. I think I need to work on my elevator speech.
There you go. Megan, what about you?
So I own a business called Frenzy to Freedom, and I provide consulting services, business consulting. So generally owners and managers want to operate more efficiently and be more profitable, but usually feel a little bit overwhelmed with what to do next when they start working on the business rather than in the business. So Frenzy to Freedom, I help them to look at the big picture. We do an assessment on finance, team, processes, find out where the most value for time investment can be seen so that we can set some priorities and figure out what to work on next. Oftentimes that's within finance, so that's a bit of a specialty of mine. But the goal overall, whether it's people or numbers, looking to be able to keep more of every dollar that's earned within the business. So it comes down to being more profitable.
Awesome. So all four of us live in Central Oregon, and we are pretty much, I mean, I don't know that I love the word solopreneur, but we're basically kind of some of us have VAs and staff, but we kind of run our own business. And so we've connected to kind of support each other. And so I just kind of wanted to throw it out there. I don't know who wants to take this, but kind of what is your favorite thing about collaborating with other business owners, and kind of what impact has that made on your business?
I'll jump in on that.
I'll jump in.
Megan.
No, Megan, you go.
Do we want to do the same order?
Yeah, let's do the same order and then we'll keep it easy.
That's awesome. So there's two things I would say. The first is just anytime you are starting a business, especially if you're a solopreneur working from home, it can get a little bit lonely. Like there are days when I'm like, oh my gosh, if I'm working from home, I need to see something besides like the walls of my office and talk to an actual human and not just my dogs. So having a group of people that support you, that you can bounce ideas off and have fun with, is just invaluable. But more important than that, what I have loved about each of you ladies and just the Ben business community in general is, even though we all have areas of expertise, we all have areas where we could use help and support, and also the ability to step outside of your business and see it from a different perspective. And the business strategy and insights that I have gotten from each of you has helped me to shape the way that I am working on my business, whether it's just accountability or looking at things from a different perspective, or, Megan sitting down and talking to me about, okay, what's the budget? What's the profit margins? These types of things that those aren't my wheelhouse every day. And so having that support system to help balance out the things that I'm good at has been invaluable.
Love that.
Agreed. So I would say listening to Kristy, it's always, I learn something new. I learn a new buzzword. She'll reform something that's really hard for me, and then she'll reform it by using one of the words she just used in that amazing sentence. I don't know if you guys ever get that, but so pretty much collaboration when it comes to other businesses. There's literally, if you find other businesses that are experts, or they're having the same problem, or maybe you have a friend in there and you have to spend time with them, but you can also maybe build your business or something like that. That's a form of networking in a way. But making sure that you're collaborating with others means that you're always trying to move forward, because somebody else is going to always know something more. Our business is constantly changing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, to build off what you're saying, Kristy, I feel like for all of us, like we kind of met on professional terms, but have become good friends in the meantime. And then just by building those collaborations, you build a deeper understanding of each other's business, which, like you said, then turns into a really easy, natural referral network.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I like the it seems like there's more levels of networking than I thought in the beginning.
Yeah, for sure.
And you've defined a lot of them for me. That's the other thing. Like, when we did our podcast before, you had talked about how there were how there was a digital world and then a in-person world, and I never really made that distinction until we talked about it, and it changed my perspective and adjusted it, and it was perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then,
well, and speaking of other podcasts, Megan is now officially a three-peater.
Is that like a hashtag?
Yeah, it should be.
Make it.
So what about you, Megan? How have collaborations kind of helped you in your business?
Well, to, build upon what both the Christies have already said, I definitely agree with all of those things. But for me, my business wouldn't exist without the networking and the collaboration with other specialists within, specific niches. Like, I'm a little bit of a generalist in the sense that I do big picture assessments, but sometimes I find that the most value in somebody's next step, their priorities, lie within sales. So I might refer them to Christy Lawrence, or it might be that they really just need to get connected and start to network. So they talk to Kristy Starr, or it might be that they need to work on their website and some branding. So they might talk to Sammy. So it's important for me to get to know other professionals within our community, other consultants, other specialists, so that I can give the best recommendations for my clients when it's not to work with me, because we don't really want to work with people who it's not the right fit, but we want to be able to provide some value. So for me, knowing who to be able to refer them to and to bring them value is an important aspect. And sometimes when you meet with people, you don't even know what the connection might be. Sometimes it might be a random coffee and you think, oh, I'm so busy. Why did I do this today? I don't even know why I'm talking with this person. And you have a conversation and you get to know what they do and who they are, and they get to know who you are and what you do, and something comes out of it. So it's extremely valuable for me to get to know the other people in the area and what their specialists are or specialties are, and to be able to rely on and refer them things as well. So it's been great knowing you guys and getting to know you. And certainly, a lot of those relationships, when you really find the people who have those great talents, you get to know them more and more over the years. So it's been a pleasure to work with you ladies.
Aww, hugs. We can't hug while we're recording a podcast, not all together.
In different states.
Yeah, right. But you touched on something really important, I think, in that we aren't experts in everything. And if we are providing services to a client, inherently there's going to be other things that come up that they're going to need support with. And having people that you trust, that you can send people to, is really important, because that comes back to you, right? If you send somebody to another service provider and they drop the ball, and I think in all of our industries, most of our clients come to us having already worked with somebody else that didn't do things the way they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So that referral network becomes really important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And building collaborations is free. It's free marketing.
Very, very true.
For the most part.
So Megan did the same thing. You've I feel like the quality that I have working with all three of you, especially in the financial side, but also just kind of the way that Megan looks at business from a different point of view. I feel like all of us look at it different. And then the way we collaborate, I feel like it's just all the pieces you need.
Yeah.
And Megan's aspect is that she really utilizes the network. And then also along that, she really I feel like you're kind of the cohesion a lot, along with Sammy. But anyways, I just wanted to say a positive on her too.
Well, and that's a good segue into kind of why all four of us are together on this podcast, because I don't often have this many guests. Well, I don't think I've ever had this many guests at one time. But I think we've all known each other for over a year, at least, if not longer. And we have seen kind of the need in our clients in needing to have support in sales and learning how to network and getting their systems in place and understanding marketing so that they can have a holistic view on their business. And so we kind of came up with a fun program. So I don't know, see if you want to introduce the Business Accelerator.
Yeah. So I think for me, it's really about looking at business from a holistic, sustainable point of view. And when I say sustainable, it means that it has to be sustainable financially, and it also has to be sustainable in terms of schedule and time. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes with the new year coming, what I see so many business owners doing is getting really caught up in setting goals and making plans and how can I get a jump start, which are all phenomenal things that every business owner should be doing. But if you don't have the foundation and the pillars for profit as part of that plan, you're not going to be able to create a truly sustainable business. And the reality of that, it's not just one thing. It's not just sales. It's not just marketing. It's not just the finances. It's not just about building connections and collaborations. It's all of those things working together. And to me, this workshop is really about giving business owners the opportunity to create space in their business to work on all 4 of those areas in their business so that the plan that they put together for 2020 helps them create that sustainability.
Yeah. And I want to mention that this is based in Central Oregon. So obviously all of the listeners are not in Central Oregon. So we apologize that you can't attend our workshop. But
and I would say if you're looking for an excuse to come to Central Oregon and do some skiing, you can do some great business planning and business building tied in with your vacation too.
Oh, there you go.
Oh my gosh, you can stay at the hostel.
Some of the best networking is on the ski lift sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd never thought about that. I guess that's true because you have, like, what are you going to do? You're sitting there for 7 minutes.
Yep, I've met some amazing people on the ski lift.
I have heard that before.
So I love that you touched on the 4 pillars. And I guess what I was going to say in general is thinking about your business holistically is super important because I'm with you. You can plan all day long, but if you don't actually execute, then you're not doing anything. So I guess, Megan, I'm going to jump to you on that one and just say, I know we talked about this a little bit in our previous podcast, but kind of where do you see people falling off the map when it comes to creating systems in their business in general?
In general, it's kind of what you're saying, that you get a little bit focused and maybe have that mono vision of the thing that you're either the best at or that you really are excited about, and that might be what you focus on. So I think pulling it together with these 4 different aspects that are extremely important to bring that well-rounded aspect to business planning is often something that falls off the table. And, the whole part about networking and having a community and being able, to talk with other people and have different viewpoints and get questions about your business that you might not have thought of, or maybe some tough love or tough news that you're just not doing the thing that you need to be doing. It's having that accountability aspect. So having, somebody ask those hard questions and look at it from an outside perspective. But when you look at it holistically in the sense of these 4 pillars, we're giving very specific ways that it's either worked for businesses in the past or that you can evaluate your own business in these areas, and then putting together an actionable plan so that you can take those next steps and know what's the next thing that I need to do to reach this end game goal for the end of the year. So I think it's an extremely valuable approach to looking at business planning.
Yeah, and it's important to think about your goals as your goals because everybody's in a different place and we tend to compare ourselves to everybody else. The strategies are the same, but you want to make sure that the strategies you're implementing are getting you to where you want to go. And so I think it's important once you also have your goals. Kristy, I'm going to jump to you on this one. All networking events have a different personality. So kind of how is your recommendation that people just try them all out and see which one is the best fit for them? Or what kind of things do you see as far as new people coming to your networking events and how they've made them successful? for themselves, not the event itself, but like how they've worked it.
Well, I think so. I'm running into really two different kinds of networkers. No, maybe three. So it seems like to me, there's the one who comes in and they're new to the business. They're starting from scratch and they need to kind of know all of it. And so I recommend them to actually probably find one that fits their needs. So like, I know a lot of people are in, I know that would be for somebody wants to like build really fast.
So, it's Opportunity Knocks. It's a networking, but it's not a referral based business. It's more to help you grow your business. Yeah.
Yeah. And or there's BNI, they have their versions, Chamber, there's a variety of different networking things. So if you're new to the business, that's what I would say. If you are networking to excel a career of some sort, maybe you're just kind of moving from one thing to the other, but you are just building your name kind of. That's going to go to all of them.
Right.
And then the third one is somebody who really needs to knuckle down. You just pick one. And it has to be the one that's worth the most time. Like if you're trying to build a family, or if you're an independent contractor and you have complete and utter control of your schedule, something like beers and business cards is more, or even like happy hour events, or just something where you get to mingle more. That's where the value is. And so, but I kind of feel like that answered it. There's a couple different kinds of networkers out there.
For sure.
Oh, and we didn't even talk about the online platform. That's, like I said, I feel like that's kind of like the community you want. And hopefully that's in your funnel.
Yeah. I mean, I've gotten business off of Facebook groups.
Yeah.
Good clients and podcast guests. Like the online networking is great. But I think kind of like Christy Lawrence mentioned earlier, the other beauty about networking events is just getting out of the house and like absorbing what other people are doing and kind of just getting to learn other things.
Well, and the energy, it has to match. Like whatever networking event you go to, you got to match the energy. If it's not your energy, move on. There's another one.
Yeah.
The other thing that I want to say about that is just, it's important to recognize, and I think this is true in everything, that ultimately, yes, when you're going to networking events, you're trying to build your business and find clients. But ultimately, the first step of that might be something totally different. That when you're at a networking event, you're not trying to sell people on your business. You're trying to connect with like-minded people, whether that means that person is a good referral source or somebody that you can refer business to, whether it's somebody that you want to go skiing with or be friends with, right? Like that, the networking, because my biggest pet peeve, and I don't know what your thought is, Kristy, is when you go to a networking event and you're introducing yourself to someone and they're immediately trying to get you to buy something from them. And you're like, I just met you. But the networking event is to start the conversation, build a connection, not to build the sales at that initial event. Sometimes that happens, but to just really be mindful of why you're there.
Oh, definitely. You kind of have to go with an intention. If you go, well, no, that's not true. That's not true. I feel like you have to have some sort of intention. But what I learned a lot is that those people they end up burning themselves out. And because the business here is so small, and that's why the digital world is cool, because it's it's the digital. It's anywhere in the world. But I say a lot of those people, they've kind of burned themselves out. And I do understand what you're talking about. I notice a lot of them are like what is that, where they say it's commission breath? And I've just watching Christy Lawrence, I often am like, oh my gosh. One time you talked about gratitude, saying sending a thank you card, even if the sale didn't go through, You just you just be who you want to be, and those people will surround you. And I feel like you've taught me that a lot, even through that one article. I can't even remember where it was.
That's awesome.
So I want to switch gears a little bit, and because we're all female entrepreneurs, and this is something that I feel is something we've all talked about, and that's money. And so obviously in our workshop, the goal is to help you build a strong foundation so that your business can make more money. And I feel like, I'm just curious about your guys' thoughts on this, that like making money is kind of feels a little bit dirty sometimes, in that we don't, but we are in the business of making money so that we can support more businesses, right? Like I think, Christy Lawrence, we've talked about this a lot. Like I feel when businesses thrive, community thrives, because the more your business makes, the more you can support more employment, you can support the community how you want to, but it's just kind of that weird psychology, I think, for women especially. So I'm curious your thoughts on kind of the money mindset piece, and we can go around the room. Anyone?
Well, I'll just jump right in, because to me, this is really the heart of so much of it, is that I think females and women in general have really been culturally conditioned to be of service, which is phenomenal. And you absolutely want your business to be of service. And that has to be the foundation. But subconsciously underneath that, women are taught not to talk about money, that like somehow the way women look at money culturally is very different than the way men look at money. And there's a lot of research and statistics around this. And that to recognize, if you are in a for-profit business, the only way to have your business be successful and sustainable and to be of service of your clients is to make money and to be profitable. And that's not a bad thing. And the more profitable you are, the more generous you can be, the more people you can serve, and the bigger impact you can have on the world around you. And that if you aren't comfortable talking about money, making money, thinking about money, it is going to be really hard for you to be of service in a lasting and sustainable way.
Yep. I love that. Anybody have anything they want to add to that? I mean, she summed that up pretty well.
Well, she totally did, but I can add a little bit. When you think about why you started a business, I think about why I started the business, and I had a hectic career that ended in lots of migraines and not spending time with friends and family or doing the things that were important to me. So health suffered, and family suffered, and relationships suffered. And when I started this business, a big part of it was so that I would be able to live that side of my life, to have that personal life, and to do the things I love, and to be able to go on a sailing trip if somebody invited me last minute. So that's like the real why behind what I do. And I wouldn't be able to, to do that if I wasn't thinking about being profitable. But in a bigger sense, it's to contribute to the community. I really want a community that I love and that supports me, and that we're all doing good things and making the world a better place. I can't do that if I'm not profitable, once again. So the big whys behind why I started my business are not going to come to a realization if I'm not being profitable and able to contribute what I believe my talents to be that can help the community get in that situation. So I don't think it's dirty to talk about money. I actually love that money conversation, because to me, it gives you an opportunity to learn and to do things better, to get better every single time that you look at an equation or situation or the product or service that you're offering, and how you can better contribute that thing, that special, talent that you have, to either make the world a better place, to fulfill your mission, to help other business owners, to make better websites. When you really think about that why, it makes money not a dirty topic at all to me.
Yeah. That's awesome.
No, I fully agree. Can I pop in?
Yeah.
Okay. So I also feel like money is almost generational, but if you want a sustainable business, then you have to pretty much educate yourself on everything. And the 4 pillars that we're talking about, if that's one of those are your strong suit, that's the one you just start with, and then you start building on them and you educate. Like, I feel this event that we have coming up is going to be pretty much like an example of what my ideal community has become. And I'm really excited about it because we're surrounded by experts, and there's a lot of really cool things going on here in Central Oregon. And people don't even know how insane amount of people are entrepreneurs, and they're making it here. Yeah. And they're launching, and they're Oregon based, and they care about the ocean, or maybe they care about, there's a billion different things that people care about. Come on, ladies, help me out.
Well, no, I think it's like that in a lot of, I think the lesson here is to build or to take a look inside of your community, because the workshop that we're doing, we're very proud of, but it's not like it's rocket science, right? It's just that we feel like we have a service that we can provide, and together can really help businesses here locally. If you're not in Bend, there's workshops like this happening all over the place. You just need to put in the effort and meet people and collaborate. I think the common thread that's coming through all these conversations is find your tribe of people in your local community that you can lean on, and then you'll find access to more and more and more things, because you can only do so much by yourself. But when you work with other business owners that are like-minded, then it just will help accelerate everything. Yeah.
No, for sure.
So, like I said, if you want to learn more about the workshop, businessacceleratorbend.com. And I know a lot of you ladies have freebies, so we'll include some resources for those of you that aren't local but want to know more about some of the things that we're going to be talking about. We'll include resources in the show notes of this episode. But because I think this episode goes live on New Year's Eve day, January 30th or December 31st. So before we kind of sign off and say where people can find you, my last question to each of you, and we'll go around the room again, is how do you feel about New Year's resolutions? And if you are all about them, do you have one that you want to share? Personal or professional?
I'll start the trend of going first, but I really don't like New Year's resolutions. And there's a couple of reasons why. One of them is kind of like a little woo-woo, but when I just think about seasons, January is winter, and winter is really about like hibernation and rejuvenation. And so I just think the energy's off to start resolutions in January. I think January, February, really is about reflection and planning, but actually the execution of that to me is much more of a springtime energy. So for me, I'm much more likely to like really start my execution plans in April, like February, March, April. But I also think the thing for me about resolutions is statistically they fail, right? Over 70% of people 3 weeks after New Year's have given up on their resolutions, and they set the same resolutions every year. So to me, really this time of year is about reflection and planning and thinking about where you want to go and setting up the foundations of how you're going to be able to get there over the next 12 months and beyond that in a sustainable way. So that's my quick thought on resolutions.
Perfect. Kristy?
I like it. So I would say when it comes to resolutions, if that's kind of what you need, go for it. I've never been one for that, but I also feel like I fall short a little bit in the goal setting department, because I get into that habit of over planning. And so if I do goal setting, then it makes me kind of micro concentrate on something. And I think the way my brain works is it has to be more creative than that for me. So I've never really tried it. I've been eyeballing that 30-30 thing because I kind of want to, no, but I don't know. I feel like I need no resolutions this year. I don't think. I think I'm just like happy where my ball is rolling.
What about you, Megan?
So, there is I think a really negative connotation towards the word resolution. And I think it is just a given that, I'm going to set this, plan to lose weight or plan to not spend so much money. And then you just kind of know you're going to fail sort of thing. So I kind of agree that, just that word I'm not a big fan of. I do believe in annual goal setting. So really taking time once per year. I tend to do it this time of year because it's the end of my fiscal year. So it kind of, and around the holidays, things slow down a little bit. So it's an easier time to reflect upon the goals that I had set and how well I did against those goals and to replan. But once per year, I take that big picture approach and I really look at, okay, what does the next 10 years look like? What do I really want to have in that 10 years within personal finance, family, all of those areas of my life, and then work backwards from there. So a 10-year, a 5-year, a 3-year, a 1 year. And that 1 year is what I use to really set my goals for my business and, for health and relationships, and breaking that down then into some quarterly aspects, because a quarter is an easy, chunkable way for me to, recognize, is this something I can do? What do I need to do to get there? And then to be able to answer the question, did I do what I said I was going to do? Did I try? Is what I'm trying working? So I do quarterly planning, which is more like, I don't know if it's a resolution, but it's a goal. And then the annual end of year, you could do that in the spring, totally, whenever is the best time for you. I think that the thing, that sounds pretty clear from, what I've seen with my clients and with myself and what I'm hearing from the Christys, is that you have to find something that works for you. If it doesn't work for you, it's not going to be any good, and you're just going to be wasting time. So, you have to try things until you find something that really motivates you and gets you to that next level. Because to me, it's always about learning and going to the next step and figuring out how you can be better, be a better person, have a better business, fulfill things in a better, more efficient way. So that's my feeling on resolutions.
Yeah, and I'm similar to you, Megan, in that I definitely have my 1 year plan, and they're very specific. I think the thing for me with resolutions that don't necessarily work is they aren't specific enough. People say like, I want to lose weight, I want to get in shape, but they don't actually have anything tactical to do with that. And then there's no accountability. So one of the things, as you ladies know, getting back and getting healthy is something that's on my goal list this year, but I have been very specific and said to you all, I want to work out this many days a week, and I expect you to ask me every single week, did you do it? And shame me if I don't, right? And so if you don't have that, but that's not necessarily a resolution, because again, just like you said, I have quarterly goals so I can see what my achievements are, because I think the big thing with resolutions as well is if you don't feel like you're accomplishing something, then it's easy to just let it go. If you don't have any milestones to say, I hit this revenue goal at the end of Q1 and that's what I was trying to hit, then you're like, oh, I got a big win there. Let's keep doing it. Mm-hmm. So cool. Well, if people want to know more about you guys, how can they find you or kind of get to know you? And again, we'll put all these links in the show notes, but Christy Lawrence, let's start with you. How can people engage with you?
So you can go to mytimetoprofit.com. I've got lots of free business building resources there. That's mytimetoprofit.com. Or if you are more of a social media person and want to connect on social, there is a Time to Profit Facebook group that I'm pretty active on. So that is a great way to connect as well. You can just search Time to Profit, look for the group, and I will accept you into that.
Awesome.
I would highly recommend her blog too. I think you mentioned that. Yeah. Same with Sammy's. Oh my gosh, Megan, yours is great too.
supposed to be talking about yourself, Kristy.
I'm sorry. That's what I'm learning.
That's what she said in the beginning. She's giving. She's very giving.
I know.
But that's what I'm learning is like, that's kind of what my platform is that me helping others is literally, that makes me money, which is the weirdest thing.
Awesome.
And as much as I was afraid of money, I don't have a choice. Like the network got so big that it pretty much is just doing that. And Beers and Business Cards is just a network that I've built, but you can find it pretty much everywhere. That's why I'm saying all this. So it's on Facebook, Instagram, Meetup, Eventbrite, Google.
Yep.
There's a newsletter. I have a website, and then I'm also on Pinterest. Like it's pretty much, if you just Google Beers and Business Cards, you'll find me.
Awesome.
But I did have one little side note about the fitness, Sammy. You didn't tell me this part.
Oh.
So the biggest thing my biggest recommendation coming from my weird background is that if you're stressed and you are going to go work out, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
If you're stressed, and that's why these are so important, is because we're teaching time management and different things like that. And if you manage your time, you can make it so your workout is your networking, or your workout is your hobby, or something like that. Like it just has to, it's like those non-negotiables you talk about. So,
yeah.
But side note.
Yeah. No, 100%. Where do we find you, Megan?
The best place is probably my website, which is frenzytofreedom.com. You can also email me at megan@frenzytofreedom.com. I do have the blog on the website. I do have a Facebook page you can find with the same name. But those are the best areas to reach me.
Awesome. And if you're interested in signing up or learning more about the workshop, it's at businessacceleratorben.com, and it is January 10th and the 11th. If you're not local and you want to kind of learn more about what we're doing, you can hit us up there too, and we can get you all sorts of information. But ladies, I so appreciate you guys joining me and having kind of just a conversation about running a business.
Awesome. Thanks for having us, Sammy, and for all that you do.
Oh, you guys are awesome.
Ooh, second that.
Okay, thanks. I can't say thank you enough to Megan, Kristy, and Kristy for joining me on this episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we had fun making it for you. And again, thank you so much for being loyal listeners. 2020 is going to be an incredible year for all of us. I can just feel it. And I'm excited to be alongside you, helping you along the way. So make sure you hit that subscribe button wherever you listen so you don't miss out on a single episode. Remember, we're coming to you twice a week now on Tuesdays and Fridays. So I'll see you in the next one.